what exercises like this are going to do is it's going to do a couple things. First, one of the hardest things to use, and everybody struggles with it, so don't worry if you're struggling with it. I still struggle with it, that's for sure, is color. Color is really hard. And a lot of that is because people have been drawing, people who paint have been drawing their whole lives. They can remember being young and sitting at a kitchen counter and just drawing. And even though that might not sound like a lot, you've been doing it a while, and maybe you went to school for it or whatever. But you've been doing it for a pretty long time, and you kind of know drawing. A lot of people do. People who are artists, they know drawing pretty well. You know, they get it. They've been doing it a while. But with painting, you know, I've been painting seriously maybe for about 6 years, maybe less. And so it takes a while to kind of, you can't expect your skills to be at the same point as your drawing skills. So you have to be able to draw, to be able to paint, and well, you have to know about color. And so in some other videos I'll explain a little bit more about color, but for now we're going to kind of learn by doing. This is how you mix colors in Photoshop. You know, you just make your colors more opaque and you bring them in and bring them out. It's a process. And drawing from life is a lot different than drawing from a photograph. And you probably have heard that a couple times, but it's true. And you can really tell the artists who haven't drawn a bunch from life because there's just not a lot of depth to their work. And it's really important. It's really going to make your work stand out if you have the depth to it. I'm just going to pare this down. And this is, you know, one of my mentors once told me that look at painting as sculpture, and you're kind of sculpting this image out of a block of marble or something, and eventually and slowly the image will kind of start to come to life. And I think that's true. Right? And again, drawing from life, it's difficult, especially when you're starting out, but don't get discouraged. You know, look how much it's not like anyone who's ever painted in their entire life can just start a painting and do everything once. I mean, you have to build confidence that becoming a good painter is knowing that sometimes you have to paint things over and over and over again. And ultimately, what makes a good painting is that process, that kind of struggle and having to paint things over and over and over again. And that's what separates good painting from bad painting. Because I think one of the best advice I could give to anyone who's watching this video and really wants to become a good painter is you just got to do this kind of thing over and over again. Watch this video a few times and maybe try and get a mug and watch it while you're doing it. And then try and do it on your own. And screw up. Screw up a lot. If you're watching this video, you can be a great painter. And you know, you probably will be because you're taking the time to learn how to do it. And that's the critical. The thing that separates those who become good at something and those who are just kind of mediocre is time and effort. And that's it. I absolutely believe that. There are a lot of really talented people, or people who could be talented, that just don't put in the time. And if you put in the time and you do the work, you're going to get something out of it. You have to believe that, and you have to have faith in it, even when you're just painting things that look like crap, and we all do. I think the green is just way too saturated. I'm actually going to maybe overlay it just with some brown. Kind of start to. This probably won't look right to you, and it's not right yet, but it will be. Just like that. Now I'm mixing right on the canvas. Trying to get the. It's good. It's good practice to kind of move up back like this. Just like if you're doing a bigger painting and you have your easel set up, you're gonna move back and forth. Sometimes you move across the room just to look at your painting and see what's going on. So you can see that I'm not, I didn't just put down one color and stay there. I'm going back and forth and back and forth between colors and reshaping and shaping and reshaping and shaping. It's a real process painting. I think this video. Now that I kind of have the shape, I don't really have the shape of this yet, but I'm going to switch over to this round brush, which is what I end up painting with a lot after the block out. Alright, so there's a decent amount of, there's a lot of bounce light that I haven't put in yet, and I'm going to go ahead and start to layer in this bounce light that's coming off the table here. It's a lot more red, so I'm going to go ahead and kind of grab that red right there. And it's really going to, doing this is what's going to ultimately make your paintings look real. A lot of painting is just observing and kind of getting a grasp of this bounce light. That's a little bit too much red, so I'm going to go ahead and I need to actually make a color up here. As this shadow begins to turn to the dark side of the painting, I'm going to kind of carry that brown through. Now I'm going to go back and really start to sell this. It's really dark in there, so we're going to go ahead and mix some of this green with the blue. And look how that's starting to come around. It's very subtle, but your eye is really, my eye is starting to really kind of see this as an illusion, which is what we're going for. And while we're back here, I'm going to strengthen this shadow because it's definitely not there yet. We're going to kind of start to paint this in. And then, like I did up here, I'm going to ever so slightly dust the edges of this value. And we'll return to it. I do believe that art ultimately it can't be just taught. You can't just memorize some facts like you can with a lot of other subjects or programs. Art has to be practiced and learned. You could know things in art and still have to figure out the application. So